All right, what's going on, you guys? So this is going to be the second build of the league. This is my Toxic Rain Trickster. Now, the premise behind this build is stacking up as much damage over time, because the way Toxic Rain works, there's an initial hit, and then there's an AoE dot that is applied from your Toxic Rain. Now, I did another variant of this build, a poison hit-based variant, so I'll put that panel up here somewhere. You guys can feel free to check that out if you're interested in playing that. That also works really well as a Pathfinder if you want to do something more on hit and poison related. But this is just straight damage over time goodness. We are currently level 91 right now, and our Toxic Rain is at about 61k damage per second. So it stacks really well. So before we get into the passive tree and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to show you guys this vault map. The recording software just got a little weird, so I had to delete the video. So we're going to jump into a map that I've already kind of started a little bit. But I'll put a timestamp down below, so if you guys want to just skip to the actual build guide video portion of this, you can. But if you want to see what it looks like in an actual T15 map, this is a T15 vault map. Here's it's the eye level 82. So it's not anything crazy, but we do have minus res, some extra fizzes fire, unique boss life, etc. So enjoy. Grabbing my loot here real quick. We also have Conqueror minions just spawned on here as well. So as you can see, you just kind of shoot your Toxic Rain into the air and just let it do its thing. And it just kind of shreds through stuff, even on T15. We are pretty survivable, thanks to all the passive mitigation layers that we have from Trickster and Evasion and our Ghost Shrouds and stuff like that. So it's pretty safe. I haven't really had any problems even in the Heist content. So, highly recommend if you're looking for something that's pretty survivable. The problem with a build like this, though, is every once in a while you do get bapped. It's just kind of the nature of playing anything dodge evasion based.
Just need a moment to catch
my
breath.
Open this up. And you guys will get to see the boss damage as well. So we just put down our wither totems, and everything just kind of melts. Whoop. And there it is. Grab all of our sweet loots. So castle ruins is pretty dope. But yeah, that's the boss damage, you guys. It's really good, really efficient. And that was on 35% more unique boss life as well. So it does very, very good mapping. It's very, very good against bosses and single target. It really ramps really well. And this is still, as most of my other build guides are, a budget version of this build. You can make this absolutely insane, but that costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time, and I got 2 kids, and ain't nobody got time to grind for 9,000 years and have a 35, 40 exalt build that can do something that you can do for a couple, or 1, or less. So let's go over the passive tree real quick. We are a trickster. As far as priorities for ascendancies, this can kind of go 2 ways. If you're having problems with survivability, you definitely want to go through Ghost Dance and Escape Artist first. If you're not having problems with survivability, you can go Patient Reaper, Prolonged Pain, Ghost Dance, and Escape Artist. So it just kind of depends. This direction is more survivable. This direction is more damage. But Patient Reaper should definitely be your first or second, depending, because that life on kill, damage over time, all that kind of stuff really helps you level and helps you progress the character. As far as pathing goes, we're taking as much chaos damage and damage over time as we can. So we are life and evasion. So this is a hybrid build, as most tricksters are going to be, mainly because of Escape Artist and the synergy between energy shield and evasion. It gives you a lot of really, really good passive mitigation and stun immunity, which is huge. So we came down here, grabbed the damage over time, grabbed the life, damage over time, life energy shield, chaos damage over time multiplier. So as far as priorities on your passive tree, you want chaos damage over time multiplier, chaos damage, damage over time, and then as much survivability in the form of life and energy shield as you can pick up. So these hybrid wheel nodes are really, really efficient for us since we are doing hybrid. But you definitely want to just kind of shoot up through here and go straight towards atrophy, because this is a very, very powerful node and the whole wheel's good and you get a lot of damage over time and life and mitigation. Then you want to come down here and grab through Method of the Madness. This is just really good for chaos damage over time multiplier, picking up a jewel socket, life, evasion, as much damage over time multiplier for bows. That is also a very, very good one to prioritize. We'll go over clusters in a second. We do go through acro and phase acro, even though we're going energy shield, because of the crazy dodge chance that it gives us. It really does help our mitigation, so it's kind of worth the trade-off. Then you want to come down here and grab through Master Fletcher, because again, this is all damage over time with bows and attack speed, which is very, very valuable for us, just being able to get your Toxic Rain off immediately, so then you don't have to sit around and shoot it really slow or anything like that. So went down, grab some life. Grabbed Wind Dancer. This is also very, very good because it really scales your evasion rating. So what it does is it essentially makes you more likely to get hit one time, and then it gives you 20% more evasion rating every 4 seconds. So you take one hit, which can be anything. It can be a small hit. It can be a little monster just barely nicking you. And then you get 20% more evasion just like that. So really, really recommend grabbing this. And it's also efficient to path because you do have more life nodes down here. It is 2 travel points, but it is worth it because then you can fill out some more life and grab it. And it is a big survivability boost. As far as clusters, we are going with chaos damage clusters. This one was pretty decent. I managed to get chaos resistance, energy shield, and wicked pale on it. And wicked pale is pretty nice, just to allow you to have a lot of that chaos damage scaling and stuff like that. So wicked pale gives you skill effect duration, which affects how long the damage over time from Toxic Rain lasts. So that's really, really good. And then just flat chaos damage. For mediums, you want to go with the chaos damage over time multiplier and then whatever you can roll on them. This one's pretty good. I got life, flat damage, and chaos resistance. Same thing over here, damage over time multiplier. I managed to get 2 on these 2 passives. So we got chaos damage over time multiplier and chaos resistance against damage over time, which is really good because the chaos damage over time stuff on the ground is usually what ends up killing you. Or if you get hit with a dot from like a viper or something like that, that's a damage over time chaos hit, and that's usually what gets you. So it's really nice to have that. And then just exposure therapy for some damage over time. For the smalls, you want to go with life-based ones. I opted for the Surging Vitality because it's very, very, very nice to just all of a sudden have crazy life regen out of nowhere. So that's what I got on both of these, along with more chaos resistance. So if we look at our resistances right now, we are actually maxed across the board, including our chaos resistance. So again, that just adds another layer of survivability. So we're dodging, we're evading, our Wind Dancer's kicking in, giving us 20% more evasion. We have our Ghost Shrouds, which for every Ghost Shroud you take a hit, it regenerates or immediately gives you back that much energy shield based off of a conversion from your evasion rating, which also synergizes with our Wind Dancer, giving us 20% more evasion rating. So that means more energy shield recovery every time that we are hit, every time for every Ghost Shroud. So there's lots of passive layers of mitigation. When you're playing a build in Path of Exile and you see somebody just, wow, they have like 8,000 life and then they get one shot, it's because that's all they have is life. You want to have as many layers of mitigation as you can, and that's one thing that the Trickster really excels at. So that is our passive jewels, our cluster jewels, and that is what the tree looks like. I will be putting the POB, even though POB's been a little weird with paste bin and stuff like that. I'll put the POB down there. Feel free to ask in the comments if you have any questions about the tree, but that is pretty much it. Prioritize coming down and grabbing Wind Dancer only after you've taken all the major nodes up here and right before you start focusing on your cluster jewels. All right, so that's the tree, that's the ascendancy. Now, as far as gear goes, We are using a bow. I managed to craft this one myself. I just rolled until I got a flat damage over time multiplier, and then master crafted on the chaos damage over time multiplier. Now, for this build, the damage on the bow does not matter. That is not important. Don't focus on getting like a crazy fizz damage bow or anything like that. That's not as important as it is with the other variant that I put a panel on the video earlier. That one, you do want a bigger hit because the poison damage that your stack is based off your hit. So it's a little bit more important to have a bigger hit. For this, you just want prioritize damage over time multiplier and chaos damage over time multiplier. That's all you need. So you can find a bow with good attack speed that then has an open prefix on it. And then you get this mod through unveiling. So do your syndicate content. You'll be able to get this mod and then you just craft it onto a bow and you're good to go. As far as a helmet, we're using Asenath's Chant. This is very, very, very good. So every time we attack, it casts a spell. So it's kind of hard to see, but here's there is the Soul Rend, there's the Despair, and there's the Essence Drain. So we have Despair, Essence Drain, Soul Rend, and Efficacy linked in here. And so essentially what this does is damage over time multipliers from different sources, they stack. So what you want to do is you want to, as you're continuing to cast, you're constantly casting Despair as your curse. So you don't need a curse on hit ring, which can be really expensive. Again, this is a budget version of this. So you don't need a curse on hit ring. You automatically cast Soul Rend and Essence Drain, which do respectable amounts of damage. Like this, my Soul Rend already, even just on a 1 link, is almost 80,000 chaos damage per second. So you're getting the 60 to 70 from your Toxic Rain AoE. You're getting the 70 to 80 off of your Soul Rend. And then what is our Essence Drain at right now? You're getting another 60,000 off of your Essence Drain, and you're automatically casting your Despair, which cuts chaos resistance of whatever you're fighting. And it gives you increased damage over time from damage over time effects, which applies to our Essence Drain, Soul Rend, and our Toxic Rain. So it's very, very good. This is probably best in slot as far as damage goes. We are using a Carcass Jack. I managed to get really lucky and 6-link this. If you don't have a 6-link, you would want to drop probably the... we'd probably end up dropping probably the Empower. So you might want to drop the Empower, because let's see what that does to our damage. Let's see. Yeah, so that only gives us 10k chaos damage. And if we drop something like this... Yeah, so you're going to want to drop the Empower if you only have a 5-link Carcass Jack, which is very cheap. So we're running Toxic Rain, Void Manipulation, Vicious Projectiles, Empower, Swift Affliction, and Conk Effect. So, yeah, the Empower would be the one that you drop that just gives your Toxic Rain a few additional gem levels, which gives you more of a base dot to scale. But it is the least efficient of the other gems as far as just raw damage. So don't worry about rolls on a Carcass Jack too much. As long as you have a decent life roll, the area of effect and area damage, or just get as much as you can, right? You don't have to spend an extra 10 chaos for, 4 area damage or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So that is the armor that we're using as well as the links. Amulet, this I got extremely lucky on in the Syndicate, so you do not need that increased chaos damage talisman modifier. But anything that's got life, resistances, and then if you can find one with maximum energy shield on it, that's awesome because it does help give us just a little bit more energy shield. Quiver, you're going to want any chaos damage over time and life. That is the only thing you need to prioritize on this. If you can get some kind of resistance on it, that's awesome. But again, I crafted this myself. I did not buy this. So, yeah. Chaos damage over time multiplier and life on any kind of quiver that you can get would be fine. Rings, just life, energy shield, and as much resistance as you can. These rings aren't even really that great. Just kind of meh resistances and less than 70 life. This one's pretty okay. Life, energy shield, and resistances. As far as boots, same thing. Life, energy shield, resistances. You want at least 20 move speed on your boots. So that's a good way to find a budget pair that still gives you resistances and some survivability that you need. And then for gloves, ideally you'd want something like this. Again, more chaos damage over time multiplier, and then as much life as you can get. but you do not need a pair of these grip gloves. Any kind of evasion-based gloves will work great. And again, I crafted these myself. I didn't buy these. And then you do want to run a crystal belt because a really, really good Stygian can be very expensive. So as much energy shield and life and then resistances as you can get on a crystal belt is going to be what you want to do for your belt. Flasks, nothing crazy, just a life flask, some move speed, bleed flask. Just don't get bled to death. That's such a silly way to die when you can just have a flask that you can just press a button on. So that is the gear. As far as links, the only thing that really matters, again, is what's in your helmet and what is in your chest. I do have my Wither Totem set up in my gloves. So you have Wither Totem selected to Wither, Multiple Totem Support, and Spell Totem. You can use a different pair of gloves and get 2 reds and 2 blues and put a faster casting in there if you'd like, but it's not really necessary. All you need is a 3-link. As far as auras, we are running Malevolence, which is going to be your best in slot aura for this build. You definitely want to max out one of these, but that's only the really mandatory aura that you can use. What I'm also using right now is Flesh and Stone, just because it gives me an additional, remember how we were talking about layers of defense? This also gives nearby enemies are blinded while in sand stance. So as you can see, my sand stance is pretty wide. So anything that's close enough to do any kind of serious damage to me is going to be blinded, right? And that stacks as another layer with my evasion, my dodge, and my ghost shrouds. So that is why this character, even though I have less than 4,000 life and less than 1,300 energy shield, that's why I'm so survivable, because I have those crazy layers. We're like 5 layers deep in mitigation, right? So running a Flesh and Stone and keeping it in sand stance is a great way to add another layer, make you more survivable, and it gives you less damage from attacks if an enemy's outside of that. So if you're getting like off screen by porcupines or something dumb, it gives you a less damage multiplier to anything that passes through that, which is huge. You can run Discipline if you really want to. You can turn this off and just run a Discipline instead, but it's not really worth it because we are taken through acro and phase acro. It doesn't give us a huge amount of mitigation, but it can be worth it. Again, Malevolence is the only mandatory one. Play around and see what feels good to you, see what you like to play, see what your play style is, and then our movement skill is just dash. So we are dashing with Second Wind and then just kind of leveling whatever random shenanigans we can in here. That's pretty much it, guys. It's really simple to build, very survivable. It's taken me all the way through level 91, doing heist content pretty smoothly. Keep in mind, though, every once in a blue moon, stuff does get through all your layers and one-shot you. Again, that's just an evasion rating kind of thing, but because of all our layers, it doesn't happen all that often. So there's the build, guys. Here are the cosmetics that I'm currently rocking for those that are interested in that kind of thing. You can just pause the video and take a look just to kind of see what I'm running with. This does include some of the Nightfall and Sunrise cosmetics. So we are using the Night Lotus Toxic Rain effect for that sweet flower bulb. And that's it, guys. As far as, yeah, there's really nothing else to it. Passives, you want to kill all as you're leveling. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. We are going to be doing a What the Hell Is This series. It's some videos that I'm working on right now to help get new players into POB. So I'll put, whenever those are done, I'll put those as a card around here so you guys can check that out. One of the common things that I hear every single time somebody's trying to get into Path of Exile, they open up their Atlas or they open up, a master mission and they're like, what the hell is this? How do I do this? Well, how am I supposed to know what this is, et cetera, et cetera? So this next video series that I'm going to be working on is going to be aimed towards helping people understand the content that they're experiencing, especially since if you're jumping into Heist as your first league, there's so much stuff. So hopefully that'll help you guys. Let me know what you think of the build. Let me know what you think of the videos. Give me any kind of feedback or anything like that. I love to hear from you guys. And thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.